come to town for the craft hall?
Part of Loch Dyden for decades to come?
Last month you told me that the plague would take us all.
I know, but that's not what fate says anymore.
Damn it, Agar! You're cut off!
Yeah, and I bet I know whose fault that is. It's your fault that I can't pay my tab, you know? I wasn't ever supposed to come back here in the first place. I've spent the last 20 years knowing what fate had in store for me, and then you... Damn it. I thought I had my life figured out. I know. It's just... I wasn't always the man I am now. In my youth, I was quite the warrior. I fought beasts the size of trees, was celebrated by mortals and fae alike. When I was initiated into the Fate Weavers, I thought it was a reward for my good deeds. The first time I saw my own fate, I realized it was nothing but a curse. My own death, of course. But not a hero's death as I had always dreamed. I was going to die alone and unknown, killed by an Etin and used for stew. It was a terrible end, but I knew it was part of fate's greater plan. Then you came and changed that future. You stole my part in the tapestry. I was at peace with knowing the worst. But what do I do now that there's nothing to know? You're right. My glory days don't have to be over, and as long as I'm around you, I don't know how my story will end. That means I've got to make sure you stay around in one piece. Maybe this old trinket from my youth will help. After all, I don't just owe you my life. I owe you my future. Why, I once tracked the Yeth of Avgrun on a moonless night by smell alone. Fey or not, I could have tracked those Tuatha sober. They've set up in a cavern north of town, complete with some way of scrying your location. That's how they found you so easily. I have a plan, but it'll take the both of us to work. These soldiers were sent out with one purpose: finding you and making sure you stay dead. Everything else, the Well, Arden, Hughes, have all been collateral damage. They're using something big to track you. They call it the Eyes of Tirnoch. Smash it, and they won't be following you anymore. The main entrance is heavily guarded and will require a strong attack. The other route is trapped. It'll need a subtler approach. I don't have an answer for that. I can't imagine what about you made Gadflow send his troops across the continent. Straightforward and direct. A warrior after my own heart. I'll cover the back and make sure they can't escape to report back to whoever sent them here. Let's track down some trouble. This is the front entrance. You'll face their strongest guards, so it's no place for subtlety. Find their scrying mirror and smash it. I'll slip in the back and make sure none of them escape. Thanks for giving an old man another chance. It's good to know I've got a future again. And even better not to know what it is. Whoever that Aelin Shear is, I don't think she's our enemy. If she wanted us dead, she could have killed us while we were weakened. But she's still trouble. Reminds me of a dark elf who left me half naked and tied to a bar guest once. Now those were the days. The immortals inscribed their knowledge of fate into the living stone. I always thought it was a poetic way of talking about the theater. But there it is, in your hands. Keep it close, child. The mine has a main entrance and an escape tunnel. The main one is heavily guarded, and the escape is heavily trapped. I saw them bringing bar guests down in cages, probably still being trained. Turn the beasts free, and I bet they cause some chaos for you. The Crystal War, they've been calling it. 10 years ago, the Winter Fae turned violent and attacked us in force, calling themselves the Tuatha Daon. They say it's their sacred duty to cleanse the mortals from their lands. Naturally, the humans and Alpha who live here aren't so happy with that plan. It's been going back and forth for years. Where there's war, there's soldiers nervous about their fate, and that's where I come in. We'll be attacking their camp from both sides. We can't have any of them escaping to report back. Just go inside and find those scrying mirrors. Don't worry, I'll be coming along to help. Good luck. I'll see you inside. We're here. Good luck. I'll see you inside.
Let us tempt fate.
We're here. Not until you smash those mirrors. It'll keep them from tracking you all over Dalentarth. Good luck.
Can you tell me the difference between a creature of nature and a child of dust like yourself? We children of nature know our roles. Meek and mighty, prey and predators, life and death, all serve the cycle. You children of dust do not know your place. You come into our land. You come to face your hunters. And you don't know when to die. You shall learn. In time, all mortals will know the might of Gadflow, blessed herald of the merciful Tirnoch. All mortals end, even if some are more persistent than others.
At least the Tawatha won't be able to track you so easily now. But it looks like you've got the personal attention of their king, Gadflow. If you were anyone else, I'd suggest you start running and not stop for a few years. But you might just have a chance. You're doing well, so far. You've blinded them here, and they haven't killed you yet. And much as I hate to say it, you'll need to take Aelin Shear up on her offer of help. The Codex of Destiny should hold some answers for you. For all I know, you've already met her in the House of Ballads. But it sounds like she's the only lead now. The Destiny Stone showed us the tapestry of fate. But your power must have consumed it all. Everything except the wisdom at its core. The Codex of Destiny. We should be able to get out this way.
be seen talking to you. It isn't good for my reputation. Goodbye.
Listen, all of you. As you've clearly heard, a rare vacancy has occurred in the House of Ballads. There has been an event, a great twist in the narrative of our kind. Sir Sagril has fallen. Sagril, slayer of Ozigan, defender of the crown of Haxi, has been defeated. A death in the House of Ballads gives an opportunity, a chance for one hero to join the ranks of the greatest champions in fey-telling. Olain, Creth, Wenson the Bold. Do any of you, have the courage to pass the confirmation? If you do, your adventures will be sung to the heavens for all eternity.
We Fae do not appreciate mortals tampering with our affairs. When you stand before the knights of the Court of Enchantments, you bask in the glory of all Fae. While all of our kind play a role in the grand telling, it is the feats of a legendary few that bear remembering. These knights lead the House of Ballads. I am Ficon, speaker of renown the world over. I've claimed many ballads, but none so important as those sung by the Court of Enchantments. This is my third attempt at claiming a seat in the House of Ballads. Perhaps this telling will be the one. All Fae know of the storyteller. He is the caretaker of the telling and has been since the first spring began. There is no higher honor than to earn a noteworthy role in the telling. They make up the cornerstone of our shared experience. The House of Ballads' function is to ensure that the mightiest Fae heroes do not fade into obscurity, that they are always with us in the present. Call it history or the past. Each life tells a tale. But there is no yesterday, as there is no tomorrow. It is all today, one grand and vibrant telling. Our narrative continues to be spun. Even your presence here, while strange, is part of the changing picture.
You compete for Sagril's seat, Charmed.
This does not concern you, mortal. You would not, could not, understand. One of our most beloved heroes has fallen. Sir Sagril's passing leaves his legend in peril. A seat in the House of Ballads cannot remain empty, lest the great stories end. And that must never happen. You are bold, but that is not how tales are told in the House of Ballads. Only a worthy Fae hero may finish his quest, complete his story. However, these are strange times. Magic weaves itself in new patterns and change. It is the one thing with which we Fae have no experience. If you so choose, join the other pledges. You too may attempt to defeat the Grave Thresh, recover Sagril's ring, and take his seat in the House of Ballads. It is a popular tale, featuring the Summer Court's most treasured rogue. One afternoon, Sagril, his head sleepy with wine and dreams of women, awoke to a terrible roar. The treacherous Maid of Windermere, villain of the House of Ballads, was summoning forth a beast from beneath the earth. She wished to send it against Wenson himself. When the maid departed, Sagril tread into the beast's lair and killed it, only to realize that it was simply the first of many deadlier enemies. What a song! We are the soldiers of summer, the guardians of the light of spring. When our cousins in the winter court celebrate the darkening of the skies, we revel in the dawn. However, our cycle is changing. Everyone has noticed the fires on the sea, the monsters in the east, and the whispers on the lips. The summer court is in decline. For many seasons, the court of winter ruled alongside us as allies. There is no spring without the cool decay of autumn, no bright summer without the snow. Yet, even as our power wanes, theirs is mysteriously on the rise. Surely, you have felt it. I am Hallam the White, seeker of the Stone of Val, Baron of the Drowned Forest, Slayer of Argoth the Mighty, and Chamberlain to the House of Ballads. Many in the House of Ballads call me the Storyteller, for I watch over the Summer Court's anthology of experience. The lair of the Thresh is east of this great house, in the hollow of Gorgorth. In the evenings after dark, you can hear its disturbed slumber. The cries are unsettling. Go now, and make the song your
Glynel, I assure you it's an ancient codex, just like in the tales.
Intriguing. And why would such a thing be revealed to a child of dust? What is it? Welcome to the Summer Sanctuary, where the seeds of knowledge are sown and nurtured. I see you are a stranger and a mortal. I am Green, and I possess the healer's warmth. Do you have need of my services? Have you been injured in your mortal war? All of us at the House of Balance live to serve Wenson and the court. They are the lords and ladies of tradition, embodiments of Fey glory. Without them, we are nothing. If you ask me, our kind should be moving east to aid the Alpha. We are part of a bigger world now. The telling has changed. We cannot ignore what you call the future. For our kind, healing is simply a matter of asking our bodies to mend themselves. For one like you, it's more complicated. I don't know how you lasted this long. I do what I can. Most of the time, it's not enough. I've learned much from the dying races. Life is precious. Our kind often forget that. Farewell, fragile one. Gorhart is the place for you. Greetings, child of the dark.
And here I was beginning to think that you'd never show up. This is Glynel, Lawmaster of the House of Ballads. Give the codex over to him, and he may have your answers. I'm a woman of many talents, and we're all taught that we must use our talents for the greatest good, right? The Codex of Fate is no simple lawstone. It's more subtle and complex than any mortal could comprehend. But a Lawmaster of Ballads may be able to interpret it. We are the charmed, the subtle, and the inspired. In happier days, we were the loftiest of the mortal races. We despise open war. But for decades, the Tuatha have been at war with us, pushing into our lands and forcing us to take up arms. For a long time, they were content to keep to their play of the summer and winter courts. Now we fight Gadflow and the Tuatha for our very existence. close friend once told me, strive to be whatever you want to be. Fate might be a lie, but if it isn't, then worrying about it won't change a thing. The Winter Court, or the Unseelie, embrace the destruction and decay of nature. They aren't evil, but they aren't exactly the best of friends. Normally they share power peacefully with the Summer Court. But since the Tuatha have seized power, there is neither peace nor predictability. The Tuatha are a radical sect of Fae within the Winter Court, led by Gadflow and his insane rants about their new god. They've taken power and declared war on mortals. They use raw prismia to enhance their power, and their devotion borders on madness. But the most terrifying thing to the Fae is simply the fact that their siblings have changed so completely. You haven't been around much, have you? The Tuatha have been pressing west from their home in Alabastra. Right now, they're only threatening my people. But if we fall, the Tuatha will turn their eyes to the other mortal races. The Summer Court, or the Seelie Fae if you prefer, embody the growth and energy of nature, but they can still be as aloof and uncaring as a brutal summer day. The current High King of the Fae is Titarian, the wisest of the Summer Court. While Gadflow has undermined the Winter Court, he tries to keep their cycle in balance. Titarian isn't quite what you'd expect from the High King of Summer, but he hasn't got the arrogance of his cousins, or their cheer. Ever since Gadflow killed the High King of Winter and started the war, Titarian has become distant and melancholy, and blind to the dangers around him. Lore Master Glional has devoted centuries to the study of lore and ancient Fae stories. The codex you found isn't just any lore stone. Just talk to him, and I'm sure he'll be able to shed some light on the issue. Be on your way.
You must be Lady Shear's friend. She speaks very highly of you. An occasion rare enough to be worth recording in its own right. But let's see this codex. The fabled Codex of Destiny. When the Fate Weavers formed their order, our High King gave his own wisdom to assist them. To have such knowledge in your hands is a tremendous gift, but why did it reveal itself to you? Nonsense. All children of dust have a story that is written before you see your first dawn. Now, I can only make out some parts, but this is odd. The Codex speaks of an exception, a void, an end to the endless. This is simply too much. The High King would never pawn such absurdity off as wisdom. I'm sure you think it is. I fear you must have been taken in by a forgery. A perfectly created one, perhaps, but a forgery nonetheless. But this codex speaks of impossible things, changes to fate, death of the immortals, and other heresies. To ascribe these lies to the High King would be... I'm sorry, but I must ask you to take it away. I will have no part in these lies. All of us in the Western Feylands are subjects of High King Titarian. Our presence maintains the natural balance, bringing the green of spring at winter's end. We are the story that is told in every age, with different words, but the same meanings. We are the blazing summer and the brooding winter, forever following one another. We are as we have always been and shall ever be, no more and no less. He is an offense to our people. He upsets the natural order, and his war breaks the cycle. I will speak no more of him. As antiquarian, I'm keenly aware of the lesser ballads in Fae telling, and do my best to ensure that they're not lost in the wide river of time. I'm keeper of the Echo Stone here in the House of Ballads. It has only come to us recently, but I find its purpose most fascinating.
It is a new relic crafted by several of our most attuned Fey mages. Usually the notion of new repels me, but in this case, I can't help but feel a spark of curiosity. The Echo Stone can be used like a lore stone to experience past narratives, stories that have long since left the lips of their tellers. However, one can only use the Echo Stone if he has the right matching cairn, a magical key devised by Hallam the White himself. The role of the storyteller is the most important to the Fae in the Court of Summer. He watches the telling as it unfolds. His gaze is not on one ballad, but all of them. His wisdom is above us all, even the lords and ladies of the House of Ballads. The High King guides us in all the grand telling of the Fae. For you, tales are naught but a reminder of your inevitable decline. But for the Fae, our tales are eternal reminders of our truest selves. Here we celebrate the very heart of our kind. The greatest of our tales, reborn and relived. Every creature has its story. The wake it leaves behind in its travel. That is a telling. It is a narrative of defeats and victories that give every life meaning. Our Fae telling goes on from creation deep into the hidden end. Until then, we celebrate the small songs, the ones that celebrate the spring in which we find ourselves. Is there a meaning to it? Only its author could tell you. Do not bother me with such foolishness again.
Lionel spends his life cherishing old stories, but show him something truly new, and he dismisses it. Tragic. First of all, we ignore this fool. Most Fae aren't comfortable with change, and you are certainly something new. I'm afraid that only one person will really be able to help us with the Codex, the High King himself. It will be difficult. His court is in the city of Issa. Very few mortals are permitted in its gardens. I do know one individual who can grant you permission to enter, but you'll have to meet him alone. Nirelem is a private person, and he carries a grudge against me, although perhaps person isn't the right word for him, nor is him. You'll find him in southeast Dalantoth at Caer Nirelem. Just head towards the giant tree, and, well, you'll see. That codex isn't just a complicated lore stone. It seems to tell a tale most Fae don't want to hear, and created by High King Titarian himself, no less. Interesting. You'll have to meet him on your own. I'd accompany you, but Nirelem and I have our disagreements. Good luck with Nirelem, and ignore anything he says about me.